Hello and welcome to Project Nigel and the Rover P5B. This particular Rover belongs to Mr. Senior Mustard, and he's brought it down here for me to have a right good play in it. Now this is what you might call a proper classic car, not some retro nonsense. This car was old when all these retro cars were brand new. The size and the styling and the sheer presence of the thing and the attention to detail absolutely everywhere. I always feel that the P5 is the Rover 75's granddad. Clearly anyone can see that. The styling cues taken with a great chrome strip that runs all the way along. Not so much the front end, except possibly a bit of influence on that grille. With a long bonnet with the nice ridgy bits on it, but more than anything I think is this boot. This lovely sloping big boot, and then a great big number plate designed just for this car, plus this plinth as well. I do believe they took inspiration from that, and even these small back lights. Oh yeah, and that of course. Now this car not only looks old, it feels old as well, but then it is 50 years old. And the car of course is actually older than that, isn't it? Because the design and the build run was mostly done in the 60s. This for me really is one of those cars I just want to look at and then carry on looking at and then look at some more. From the sloping back end and the great chrome strip, the white walled tyres and its ostentatious face. This car really does have a proper grandad face, a proper patriotic old man with his moustache and his pipe. Real cow, made from real cows that died over 50 years ago. Unfortunately it's quite a bit hard in places, but it's hard but also still soft. There's a big blanket on the back seat there. Some proper carry-on character to it. It's actually just somewhere for the dogs to sleep. Now look at this lovely wraparound dash there. Again, all proper wood. Proper wood made from proper trees. And this, obviously, again, you can see the Rover 75 influence on there. And then also with the Mini as well. Glove box door is actually a piece of wood. Long before people couldn't go anywhere without having a drink of fizzy pop and all the cup holders that are needed to store all these cans and bottles, cars had things like this instead, like a picnic tray. But what it does is it suggests that if you're going to have your cup of coffee or your cup of tea, you stop the car first. I am now sat in the back of the Rover P5B, and I'm quite surprised actually, because with it being the coupe variant, I thought the rear headroom might not be very good, but it's fine. The glass is very close though, so you get a nice baked head. But the legroom is actually better than your standard length Rover 75, so I'm surprised and impressed by that. It also feels quite a bit wider. Now then, in the boot. The boot is quite big, it's quite deep, but it's not particularly long because of the fuel tank there. But one thing for sure, if a gangster flings you in the back of here, you're not going to be able to get out because there's no lever for you to escape. So, a gangster point there. A car like this, everything's just a little bit unfamiliar. And this huge steering wheel, a nice horn, but these dials here, look at this, the panel for the light, the wiper fast and slow, and then the wiper on or off. So there's two toggle switches for almost the same thing. Then oil pressure and the battery amp, water temperature of course, and fuel, fairly obvious things. And then the lights and the heater on separate dials here as well. Now there's a lovely smooth V8 sound. Very smooth. Quite a few new parts under there as well by the looks of it. Here we are driving the Rover P5B V8. Oh, what a! It's like driving a boat on custard. It's so smooth, but it also feels really big and soft. Those two things, of course, are going to be related, aren't they? Big, smooth, soft. That rev counter's a bit all over the place. Just put my seatbelt on there. And normally you set off, you tend to just yank the seatbelt as you go along, you slip it into place. But this is different because it's not an inertia reel seatbelt. So it's just fixed, it's all kind of quite baggy over my shoulder. Oh, now then, they're tackling the first roundabout in this car. Gosh, it is exceedingly wallowy. And the steering, you have to turn the steering an awful lot before anything actually happens. So I guess it just promotes a more laid-back driving style, rather than just hooning along like a lunatic, like you might do in the grandson, the ZT. Now this car has about 150 brake horsepower, which in a small car would be quite a lot. But in a big car like this, I'm not sure what its weight is, but it does feel like it's a lot. It's not going to be massively powerful. But let's put my foot down anyway. Go. Yep, that is going. So it's not fast, but it is very smooth. Hello! So this car has got indicators that don't self-cancel, so you've got to be careful to make sure you switch them off. Now I feel like a proper gentleman driving this car, not some yardy type indeed. And so I feel I should be wearing a pinstripe suit or something. But, you know, as an old Rover, you don't wear suits in old Rovers, do you? What you really need is a boiler suit. A pinstripe boiler suit, that would be suitable. I really like looking out over this long bonnet and those mirrors in the corner. They're completely useless. You can't really use them as mirrors. Doesn't stop me from liking them. Normally I'd take the car back after 5 minutes or so, but this one I just kind of want to keep going. I want to take it to the lake or something, but now I've got a cup of tea waiting. Oh, the brakes work, that's good. Who drives a car like this? Who was it? Harold Wilson. Margaret Thatcher had one. I'm sure the Queen had one of these as well, although not the coupe version, but just the normal. Yes, so this really is a wallowy old thing. The brakes work perfectly well, the steering works, it's just that it's like driving a truck or a bus. You know, the amount you've got to turn the wheel by for anything to actually happen is, well, just something you'll get used to. When I get back in my own car in a minute, it'll feel super sporty. Isn't someone let me out of here? Someone let me out? No. Thank you. Someone lets you out eventually, and most of the time they're just interested in their own journey, aren't they? Then again, I'm not having a journey. I'm just having a drive in an old car. It's completely unnecessary, and I have absolutely no priority on the road just because I'm in something big and old. So this car had its 50th birthday yesterday, and I don't think did anything to celebrate it. And you know why? Is it because it's just not that kind of character that feels the need to celebrate birthdays? No, it's because it is still just a car, isn't it? Cars don't think about stuff like that. Do you know, the first thing I forgot to even mention is the smell, the old car smell. Proper old car of leather, petrol, oil. This car has it all. Should bottle that smell. The Rover P5B, a car for royalty, gangsters and politicians, and me.